This time on Scrapyard Refugees, we're going to take what's in this box that came from Rock Auto and put it on that. Well, except for the magnet. That's always the best part of Rock Auto. Let's get to work.
Welcome to Scrapyard Refugees.
Okay, today I'm going to finally get to, or at least start, changing the valley pan gasket in this car. I have an oil leak underneath the intake manifold. There's a pan and it's leaking. So I ordered from Rock Auto. Got new intake gaskets. And this is a pan I'm replacing. It goes underneath one of these ways, like that. I'm leaking around here, so this is a whole new pan, and clean all that up. And what else have I got in here? New spark plugs. Spark plug for the ones we pulled out. These were all kind of damaged actually, but we're going to replace those, put new spark plugs in. And the big job is putting this in. So I'm going to set this aside, don't get wrecked. Alright, so the first thing is I gotta basically take everything off top of the motor. I'm gonna see if I can remove the intake manifold without removing the carburetor. Might as well keep it all together. Just gotta do the shift linkage, fuel line, coil, probably disconnect the battery while I'm at it. Not that there's any real electrical, but couldn't hurt. So yeah, let's get started on this. Now it looks like I'm going to be able to leave my rad hose hooked up because it's on top of the water pump. It's not part of the intake manifold like some Chevys are. So it's just a matter of getting all this out of the way. I'll disconnect the fuel line next. And the vacuum line off the carburetor. I'll do it here. There we are. Just put that there. Take the coil off. So, undo the turn springs on the carburetor. Okay. It's going to go. It's going to stay. Do the vacuum there. Let's see. Let's get the coil out of here. The fuel line next, I think. Let's get a couple of wrenches on that. This is a resistor for radio interference for your old AM, FM radios. Maybe just AM. Anyways, the old radios, they would attach this to the coil to stop getting static in that on your radios. I don't have to worry about it anymore because I don't even have a radio in this thing. I have the original one that just looks like, well, it is the original radio, it's just not hooked up. I've hooked up Bluetooth speakers hidden in the car that play music from my phone. So it looks like it's all factory, but really music's coming from my phone, so I don't have to worry about any kind of interference. So this can go away. Alright, but the only thing left is this bracket here for the throttle linkage. Oh. I just lost that clip that was there, so I didn't want to lose. I don't even know where it went. Here it is. I'm going to put this with some other stuff because I keep knocking that off. If I lose that, I'm in trouble. It's some weird special clip. As I say, the only thing left is this bracket here, which looks like it's one bolt right here, and take the whole thing off. And then it's just a matter of undoing all the bolts to hold the intake down. It's almost too easy. Well, I shouldn't say that because now I probably just cursed myself. Yeah, so let's get, it's like a 9/16, I think. Alrighty. There it comes. That might even be one of the bolts for the intake itself. But it's also, oh yeah, that's a good size bolt. That out of the way. Okay, so there's the pan I'm going to replace right here. I still got these bolts here to undo at each end, and this is actually a gasket, and this is just crap that was underneath. There was a piece of insulation under here for I think for noise more than anything else. It was half pulled out by the mice, so I pulled it all out and cleaned as best I could, but you can't get underneath it. But that's what I'm replacing. That's really gross and disgusting. But hopefully, now this must be factory, this pan, because it's just the pan. The pan, as you can see, is the gasket. But I ordered a new one, a pan, and it said to use these cardboard gaskets on either side. It comes with like 2 sets. Set going underneath, set going top. I'm going to double check that, but that's what it's calling for. Aftermarket, I guess, to make sure it seals, but factory they didn't do that. But I'm gonna look into that. But that's the pan's got to come out next. And there's my intake manifold. Ugh. Yeah, see, there's no gaskets on there. I don't see anything that looks egregiously wrong. A whack of carbon or anything. This is a heat crossover. Helps heat the intake manifold up from the exhaust. But that looks okay. Here's the other side here. Bit of oil. But it'll clean up nice. But yeah, no gasket. I'm gonna double check, but apparently I'm supposed to put gaskets in it. It came with these gaskets here, and there's 4 of them, 2 for each side on either side of that pan. So let's get on with the taking that disgusting thing out of there. See what it looks like underneath. Alright, got the 2 braces and all the bolts and everything holding it out, so that should just pull out now. Let's see how hard that is. Okay. Try not knocking any dirt into the engine. I haven't changed the oil afterwards. When I'm done anyways, it's due, but still, any crud you can keep out of there, the better. Yummy.
Yummy!
Alright. Deeper look inside my my engine here. I don't see any scoring on the cam. It must be part of the head gasket. Oh, that one doesn't. That one spins. I got a couple that don't spin, because they're under pressure. But these are supposed to spin. But like this one's stiff, and you can see it's just coming up on a lobe here, so it's probably just under pressure. But again, nothing looks horrible other than it needs good cleaning. So try and keep this crap from falling into it. So I think I'm going to put a rag or something over top of this for now. And then give it a cleaning. And look, we're putting the gaskets on. This is actually going a lot smoother than I expected. Well, looks good. I have no idea what the mileage is. I think the odometer says something like 59,000 K or miles. It's in miles. I'm not sure if it's real or not because it doesn't have the extra digit. And it is a 58-year-old car. But I know it's been off the road since the 80s. So that means it was only on the road for about 20 years. And being convertible, it probably wasn't driven much in the winter time. So 59 might actually be the right one, considering how good the floors really are in it. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get to the odometer and see what it says. So 51,705 miles. So it might be that. Because of the age, I want to think it's probably 151,000 miles, which is, what's 50,000 miles? Like 80,000 kilometers, roughly. So 150,000 miles would be, oh, I can't even do the math. Anyways, fair number of kilometers, but I don't know, like I said, it's been off the road since the 80s, so that means it was only on the road for about 20 years. If I average that out, 10,000 a year, which is our average car in kilometers. That's kilometers again, see? The miles thing screw me up. I don't know, what do you think? 51,000 miles in 20 years for a convertible, which probably didn't drive in the wintertime? I think that might be it. Either way, it really doesn't make a difference. I'm stopping an oil leak. Engine looks good inside, whether it's 51,000 miles or 151,000 miles. Thing looks good, just leaks a lot. So I'm going to clean that up. And yeah, on with the project. Alright, I was just trying to suck out this passage in here. It's a blind hole, but it's pretty deep. It's just full of crud. Keep vacuuming it best I can. And then there's the intake. Now you can see the valves. It's kind of neat. But yeah, just getting all the garbage out of it. I'm going to take probably a razor blade, make sure you get all this sludge off, clean it up nice and clean. So a good surface for the gasket to mount to. And put it all back together again. I'm going to do some research, so double check to make sure. It just seems odd that there's no paper gaskets from the factory. But let's double check to make sure it goes in. And do I put any silicone along there or not? There's no gaskets for that. I gotta do some more research because the gaskets just cover in here. There's nothing for here other than the pan itself. So I might just put a thin layer of right stuff or silicone or something like that along there just to make sure, because that's where I was leaking over here. I was leaking a lot right here. And as you can see, I got like puddles and that, so maybe a little bit along here couldn't hurt. Very thin though, because I don't want to have it ooze into the valley here. So yeah, I'll bring it back when I'm getting ready to put it all back together. Okay, next day. I've done some research on whether I need these gaskets or not. First thing I read online said that you don't need the gasket, that the way this thing, this pan going in is pressed, it is the gasket. And I tend to believe that because when I took it apart from the factory, it didn't have the gasket. But when I bought it online, there was a little note in the thing, in the sale of it, saying that I needed these gaskets. So I went online, did some more research, and the best I can figure is I'm not going to need these. I'm just going to put these in, this in as a gasket, bolt it all together the way it was originally. Apparently these gaskets are recommended if you have changed to an aluminum intake or aluminum heads, or have some head work done. You need the extra sealing, so that's what these are for. So I don't need these. So I'm going to hang on to them in case I ever decide to go to a aluminum intake. But for now, I'm just going to use that gasket, or the pan, as a gasket. And I was wondering about the ends where I said that I needed maybe a silicone in there. Well, I went through the box that the part came in, and it came with its own little tube of RTV to use just for that. So after some YouTube tutorials and that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to put this pan in and use a bit of silicone that came with it and put it all back together. Clean up the parts, put it all back together, and it should be good as new. So that's what we're doing now. I've seen on some posts that some guys block this off. This is just an exhaust port for like the heat into the exhaust manifold to warm up the choke. My choke is operated by this arm here. When this gets warm, it opens and closes the choke, or just opens the choke, and it still works. Guys that block it off, they try and keep the heat from getting into the intake manifold, keep it from boiling fuel. You got like a hot cam or something, or tuned up engine. Mine's completely stock. But when you do that, then they got to replace this with an electric choke. And mine's not electric, so mine's actuated by the heat. So I'm just going to leave that alone, not block it off like some guys suggest. Just give this a good clean and move on to the other side. So won't bore you with the other side. Same thing. Clean it best you can. We'll move on to putting the pan gasket in. Okay, got the mating surfaces all cleaned up for the pan to go in. The intake gasket, intake manifold is going to sit on top of it. So I'm just going to never take the T-shirt out, but yeah, get ready to put it all together. Okay, here's the gray RTV silicone that came with the Valley Pan gasket, or Valley Pan. So I'm going to use it to do here and here, maybe a bit up into here. And then we'll put the pan on and start bolting it in. I put these studs in just temporarily to help line the pan up when I put it in, and I can pull them out after the exhaust manifold is on. It also helps line the exhaust manifold up. Just a trick I learned on YouTube. What would we do without YouTube? So yeah, so let's get this going here. So you can see I put a decent amount of silicone or RTV on that. Seal that up. Let's take this T-shirt out before I forget. There's the valley pan slash intake gasket installed. Now it's just a matter of putting the intake back on and hooking and everything back up. That actually went a lot easier than I thought it would have. Went in there pretty smoothly, so here we go. So I got one side in. These bolts, if you can see down in that hole or not quite lined up. It's like they have to be pushed down a bit. So if it's hung up on the edge of the valve cover maybe, or just the way it goes in at an angle, you got it just right. So I think I gotta shift that whole manifold this way. Once I get them started, then I can crank it down, but it's getting the ones on this side started.
One eternity later.
Oh. Alright, here's what I'm struggling with. I think I got these two started but I don't want to cross thread. I want to make sure they're in right. So, hope I can get those in. That one's not started yet. I just tried to do the end one. And of course I dropped the bolt and it fell into the valley pan, which means it's underneath the intake here somewhere. So, I'm going to magnet fish that out. And I'll bring it back when I'm actually making progress. Because right now I'm just getting ready to throw something and or break something. Okay, it was a struggle, but I finally got all 8 bolts at least started. The reason is the gasket has to be crushed to seal, so it's fairly thick. And to put the bolts in, you got to press down the manifold and actually crush some of that gasket first to just get the bolt started. So started pushing and tapping with the hammer a bit, but mostly it's just once I got one started, I can kind of tighten it up a bit, just enough to pull the manifold down, and then enough to get the other one started. And so now they're all started, I'm going to just snug them up so they're all touching, and then get the torque wrench out and do 20 pounds first time around in a crisscross pattern, and then 40 pounds as the final torque, and do it all in there. So that should seal it up. But what a fight that was. Mostly because I don't know what I'm doing. Bit of extra set of hands would have helped. But I think I got it beat now, so bolts are started. That's the main thing. So let's get this done. Well, that pretty much covers that job. All bolted in. All I have left to do now is hook the fuel line back up and the linkage for the carburetor. Remount the coil back into its spot. And that's it. That's a little easier than I thought it would be. The only problem I had was getting the intake manifold to set down in to bolt it in. other than that, I'm going to probably end the video here. The rest is just, like I said, hooking linkage and everything back up. I'm not going to fire it up till I change the oil, and I got to go out and buy I have the oil, but I don't have an oil filter. So I'm going to go out and get a nice Wix oil filter. I was get a fuel filter while I'm at it, just to be safe. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the engine for this spring. I think it's ready to go. I think all I do now is I'll check the front suspension, check tie rod, ball joints, and all that. They're all new except for the lower ball joints. When I got the car on the road, I couldn't find lower ball joints for it because it's part of a control arm. So I'll double check them. I have found them since. I have to order them in though from the States. So I'm hoping they're okay, but that's the next thing I'm going to check. So yeah, so I'll clean this up, get it all back together, change the oil, and she's ready to go for another season. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you found something entertaining in this, or at least know what to do, or actually more likely what not to do. And yeah, remember, like, share, subscribe, all that. I'm trying to get my subscriptions up to at least 500. I'm at like 220 now. I've really only gained 8 this year so far. So make sure you like it, make sure you watch it, make sure you share it. Trying to get up there. I'm going to think if I get 500, which is my goal, I'm actually thinking of getting t-shirts done with the Scrapyard Refugees logo. But I got to get there first. But if I do, then maybe I'll have t-shirts for sale. But that's it for now. Thanks a lot, and I will see you guys later.